Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, winter had a late start here in the Ozarks, but it arrived, and it arrived big time this week.
And I'm trying to look chipper about it, but I'm not quite chipper about it this morning because it's 18 degrees and...
With the wind chill, it's in the single digits.
Yeah. On our last video, we told you that the kids had been home, for the first part of the week because school was canceled. Yes, our kids do go to public school. And they ended up having the entire week off because we had gotten sleet that amounted to about a half an inch compact on the roads and sidewalks and driveways and stuff like that.
Just solid ice.
And it never got warm enough to melt, and it actually wasn't even warm enough for the salt to melt the ice.
Right, yeah, so the salt trucks have gone around. They've come down our road a couple times, although way out here in the country, they don't come around real often,
right.
Maybe once a day or so, and they salted, but yeah. Did you know that it can get so cold that the salt doesn't work? I guess I had forgotten about that. I probably knew it growing up when we lived in Wisconsin, but man, it's been a long time since we've been in weather this cold.
So the Arctic cold temperatures are continuing, and they are going to be continuing for us through the next week.
Right.
And in the middle of all of that, we're supposed to get 2 snowstorms.
Right, yeah, on Sunday, they're actually saying that we could get 4 to 8 inches of snow, which for us is, I mean, since we've lived in the Ozarks, we've never had more than like a half inch or inch of snow at one time during entire winter. And we could get 4 to 8 inches just on Sunday.
And then on Wednesday, we could get another 8 to 12 inches.
Yeah.
So I think, number one, it's going to continue to be cold. That's a definite. And number two, I think the kids might be home for another whole week.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We're having a hard time with the animals, really keeping everybody warm.
And watered.
They're saying between Sunday and Monday, our lows with the wind chill could be somewhere in the negative 20 or even colder than that. We're just not always prepared for that kind of stuff because it just doesn't happen. So we need to do our morning chores today, make sure everybody made it through last night okay. We're still on baby watch.
Piglet
We're still
watch.
Waiting for piglets with Myrtle. I think she's going to have them either
Right
today or tomorrow. And so we are trying hard. We're gonna make some more changes to her pen today, and we're just praying that we can get these piglets through. Let's go get animal feed, and then we're gonna also have to carry water to everybody this morning. Our chores are gonna take extra long, which isn't fun in this weather, but let's get going and check on everybody and see how everybody's doing. Well, in the winter, these rubber bowls are a must-have on a farm or homestead because when the water freezes, you can at least get it out and fill it back up. You can see, here's yesterday's water. There, this is gonna be for the chickens. Let's fill it up from the well house. We have a heat lamp going in the well house so things don't freeze up. So we'll fill the chicken water, we'll fill this bucket, and we'll take that. First we need to give some to the turkeys, and then we'll head down to the pigs. We may not be able to film all of our chores this morning because the cold is really having an effect on the camera, so we'll see. We'll make sure you guys get to see the pigs, and we'll see if there's any babies yet. All right, let's go let the turkeys out. Sheesh. That's right, I think yesterday, the kids just fed them on the ground, huh? Wow. I didn't believe the kids yesterday when they said the turkey's bowl was frozen to the ground, but I guess it really was. All right, and their water's over there. Well, we have this blue bowl that we sometimes use for water for the turkeys too, but in this cold weather, those plastic bowls just don't do a good job. You have to have these rubber bowls. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this ground is pure ice. It may look like snow, but it's not snow. It's pure ice. Actually, yesterday, when I was getting out of my truck, I actually fell, landed right on my tailbone. So you need to be careful when it gets this slippery. All right, that's all they need. Let's let them out.
Let's let these chickens out. I think that's as far as it's gonna go today. Come on, everybody. 2, 4, 6, 7. They're all here. A few days ago, before it got really, really cold, we brought out a couple of these trays. After we used the microgreens, the parts that were left over, we gave them to the chickens and they really enjoyed it. But now these are stuck to the ground, so we need to wait a little bit to bring them back into the sprout house. Speaking of the sprout house, we need to go and check and make sure that the temperature is okay in there, that little heater is still doing well, and I can warm up a little bit too before we come check on the pigs and feed them. So let's go inside there. Well, it's 56 degrees in here, so that is a perfect temperature for these seedlings in here. So everything's going well. We're not going to show you around much in here right now because we're going to do a project in here a little bit later that we're going to bring you in on. So for now, we just need to warm up our hands a little bit and then go check on the pigs.
All right, well, let's start with Myrtle and see if she's had any babies yet. Her gate is frozen shut, so I'm having to climb over the fence. Now, we've been locking her inside overnight, just in case she would have the babies overnight when we're not out here to be checking on her. But we've been checking on her every couple hours. I even came out at midnight last night to check on her, just to make sure. All right, let's give her some water first. Well, no babies yet. Ready to come out, Mama? Here's some water. And then she gets a coffee can full of pig feed twice a day. There you go, Mama. And you can see Charlie and Mildred waiting for me down there. I'm going to go in real quick and just make sure the heat lamps are still working in the area where her babies will be born and see what the temperature is in there. Ideally, we want the temperature below the heat lamps to be about 90 degrees, which is quite a chore in this weather. At the same time, we don't want the heat lamps so close to the ground or anything else that they're going to cause a fire. All right, so right now it says 88 degrees below the heat lamp, so that's pretty darn good. On one of our previous videos, we showed you guys we were building this area for the piglets to be able to get underneath here and be under the heat lamps where Myrtle won't be able to accidentally lay on them. And we realized that at that point, we didn't know it was going to get as cold as it's about to get. We only had one heat lamp, and I don't think that was going to be enough. So yesterday we came out, we put up a bigger board, gave them a little bit bigger area, put up a second heat lamp. But then we also ordered on Amazon a heat mat that will go on the ground that's specifically designed for in barns and things. It's not going to be delivered until tomorrow, so there's part of me that's really hoping these babies aren't born until after that gets here. But if they are born tonight or something, we'll have to get them through that first night without it. But at least we can get it pretty quickly. So we're just doing the best we can. Like I said, this isn't something we always are prepared for here in the Ozarks, but I think we'll do just fine. All right, let's go down by Charlie and Mildred and give them their food and water too. I'm coming. Oh good, they left their water bowl right by the fence. I don't have to go in there. They are really enjoying that big bale of hay we gave them about a week or so ago. They've actually been sleeping just outside, even in this cold weather. They're sleeping outside on the hay instead of in their shelter. I don't know, I think in the next few nights they might find that shelter is pretty darn nice. So, all right, they each get a can of food as well.
Well, it was so cold doing the rest of those chores that we just wanted to hurry up and get them done, and the camera wasn't doing really well out there in the cold. So we assure you that they all got done, and now everybody is happy and fed and can just have the rest of the day to keep warm. So we're in the sprout house. We have a couple of projects that we're going to do today with you guys. But first, I wanted to show you just some of the things that we have in here that you haven't seen before. It's been getting so cold, and I have had a couple delicate things that I've been keeping away from the harsh cold by keeping them in one of our greenhouses. But because it's going to get so cold, we decided to bring them in here just to wait out the Arctic blast that is here and is going to be coming for the next week. And I want to show you guys what we have in here. One of the things that I decided to protect over the winter this year was my pot of rosemary. Now, rosemary can succumb to a harsh winter, and I haven't ever had really great luck overwintering it just outside in the ground. So this last planting season, I planted them in buckets and decided to bring them into the greenhouse for over the winter, and they've been doing so great. They look so gorgeous. There's actually some thyme in here too. I think this is creeping thyme. Now this will do fine outside over the winter, the thyme will, but the rosemary I may lose. So they also may have just totally died in this cold weather that's coming up. So that's why we decided to bring them in here. And I just enjoy them so much in here. Some nice green, and they just smell so good. Now that they're in here, I might take cuttings off of these and root them so that I can either have more rosemary around the homestead, or I might be able to sell some of these at the farmer's market as well. I could probably do the same thing with this absolutely gorgeous thyme, root some of it and sell it at the farmer's market. But that's not the only thing that we moved in here to save. The second thing is so exciting, especially for our area. I want to show you what else we have in here. The second thing is my artichoke plant. Now this is actually the first time I've ever talked about this artichoke plant on our videos. Last year, I just did an experiment, and I didn't really want to talk about it until I knew whether or not it was going to work. And I started this one artichoke plant. Artichokes really need a warmer climate. We had gorgeous artichoke plants in the Phoenix area when we had our urban homestead there. And so this year I decided to try one. I babied it, put it in the greenhouse. Couldn't believe that it was still living with the temperatures that we've already had, but I didn't want a chance that it would just get totally ruined and that all of my hard work would be down the drain. So we brought this in here. You guys, this is just a standard globe artichoke plant, and it's doing really well. It should produce fruit this next coming year, so I'll be excited if it really does. So that's what's in here, just a globe artichoke plant that really shouldn't be growing in southern Missouri.
We've got a couple other new additions in here as well. We actually have some trees in here. Now this isn't where these are going to be staying, some trees and some bushes. We just brought them in here to get them out of this extreme cold right now, but they really need to be in a cooler location than inside the sprout house here. These were actually sent to us, kind of a surprise, kind of a thank you, I guess, from the folks over at Grower Solution, because we, talk about them a lot on our videos. It's a great company. We've done a lot of business with them. So they sent us these plants as a thank you, and we're so excited to have them. They sent us 2 yellow delicious apple trees, a Cortland apple tree, which I don't know how they knew it, but Cortlands are actually my mom's absolute favorite apple. So it'll be awesome to have one of those. A blueberry plant and some raspberries. And then they also sent us some bare root strawberry plants. This is one of the things we're going to be working on today. We're going to show you guys how to pot up these bare root strawberries so that this summer we can get these planted outside. But it's way too cold to get them outside right now, so we need to get them growing in here first. Now I know that we talk a lot about Grower Solutions to you guys, and we talk to you about, that's where we bought our greenhouse, that's where we get the weed fabric, the row covers. Never really dawned on me to even mention that they also sell plants that you can buy and they'll ship right to you. All of these plants came in one FedEx box. So pretty cool that you can order plants from them as well. Check it out. We're excited to have these strawberries. We didn't even tell them that we were planning on doing strawberries this year, and they sent these to us. So that was good timing on their part. Let's go ahead and start to work on these, and then I know Sarah's got another thing she wants to show you guys, something we're going to be getting ready for the farmer's market, and something that you can do yourself that's so easy and will save you a ton of money.
Well, I want to start off talking with you about how you can go about getting strawberry plants. One of the most common ways to get strawberry plants to start for your garden is bare root strawberries, and that's what these are. Sometimes you can get strawberry plants potted at your local big box store or at Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that, and you can definitely plant those. They'll grow just as well, but a lot of times those are a lot more expensive. Bare root strawberry plants you can get in packs of 100, 200, and it really is a cost-effective way to get these plants in your ground. Now, a lot of times you can get them sent to you at the perfect time to put them in the ground. Other times you just have to take them when you can get them and then plant them either in your soil if it's the right time of year, or pot them in the house, keep them under some grow lights and put them in the ground when it's the best time of year for you. And that's what we're going to do today. Because these bare root strawberry plants really aren't in anything protecting them. There's no soil in there, there's no moisture in there. They're just going to keep getting more and more dry, and they could potentially become no good and die. So I don't really want to keep these in here for very long. I want to get them growing. So I'm going to open these up and show you what they look like, and then I'm going to pot them up so that they can start growing and they'll be perfectly ready for springtime planting. Now there are 25 strawberry plants in here. And this is very similar to how all bare root plants come, these small little plants like this. And every one of them, you can see here's the plant itself that will grow up. The leaves kind of starting there. And these are all the nice roots. These are gorgeous plants. The roots are still really well developed. They're not dry and shriveled up. So I have a lot of confidence that these are going to grow. I've had some terrible experiences buying bare root strawberry plants, and most of them were from a particular big box store where none of them were green, none of them grew, and I really ended up losing a lot of money. So my point there is make sure that you're buying and getting these bare root strawberry plants from a reputable source, or you could be out a lot of money. But these look fantastic. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be planting each one of these in just these little pots that we have, that we sell plants in these for at the farmer's market. So I'm going to be planting the strawberry plants in here and getting them ready for the spring. I'm going to be just using a regular potting mix as a soil in there. And it doesn't have to be anything special. We just use regular potting mix, a commercial potting mix. It doesn't have any chemicals in it. We make sure it doesn't have any like that Miracle Grow, just plain old potting mix. It's been moistened, and I'm going to put a little bit down in there first in the pot. I'm going to make a hole in there because I'm going to be putting those roots down in there. I'm going to trim this root off because it doesn't need to be in there. It's too long. I'm going to make sure all the roots are pointing down because that's the direction roots grow. And I'm just going to backfill with more soil to fill that up to the top. I'm going to fill that up to the top of the plant, but not so high on the plant that it's just kind of going to bring moisture up to where these leaves are going to grow, because that could potentially rot that plant out, create an unhealthy growing environment for them. So there, that's perfect. We'll just need to water them. We're going to put them in this tray under a grow light. We're going to do that to the rest of these, and then they'll be ready for spring and perfect for planting. So we ended up getting 25 of them. We're just going to give them a little bit of water. And then we'll put them under the lights. They'll be good to go. It'll be fun to see them kind of come back to life and produce leaves. And then at the right time, we'll find a perfect spot for them to go in the ground and maybe get berries this year. I'm not sure. All right, let's find a spot for them under the lights. Definitely bright. Okay, now project number 2. Very exciting that we're getting close enough to spring that we can start some of these projects. It just makes me more and more anxious to get my hands in the ground outside, but this kind of pacifies me until we can do that. So today we're going to start some sweet potatoes growing into sweet potato slips. I'm going to share the process of how you can do this at home very easily. So this can be very easy, you guys. I just want to teach you the really basic way to start sweet potato slips for the garden. Now, sweet potatoes grow best from a teeny tiny plant that you plant in the garden, and then all the sweet potatoes grow underground and they create vines that go all over the place. The leaves are edible, but you need to start somewhere, and you start from what's called a sweet potato slip. The way that you make sweet potato slips or grow them is from a sweet potato. Now, we bought some organic sweet potatoes from our health food store. I have two varieties. The first one is Garnet, and the second variety is Jewel. We did both of these varieties last year. They grew very well, were very tasty, and so we're going to do it again. Now, there are a couple different ways to grow sweet potato slips out of your sweet potatoes. The way that has worked for me and I find the easiest is to grow them in a jar of water. So we're going to take a sweet potato and a wide mouth quart jar. We're going to suspend it down here like this in some water with some toothpicks. I'll show you that. And then over time, the sweet potato is going to start to bud, and it will grow some branches out of just all over the place. And we're going to either cut them off or pop them off, and that will create the plant that you'll plant in the garden. I've got my sweet potato, and I'm taking some, at least 4 toothpicks. Well, I took out 5, so let's use 5. I'm going to kind of measure how far down into the jar I want it to go. I'm going to put toothpicks all around there. And those toothpicks are going to suspend that sweet potato down into the water. We're going to fill this up with water. I'd say all the way up to the neck. Okay, that's pretty good. So now I'm going to put this in a warm, sunny location. Now it's going to take quite a while for your sweet potato to start growing its little branches, its little slips, so make sure that you're patient. Last year I put these right on a windowsill and they did great. This year we're going to keep them in here in the sprout house under some lights where it's nice and warm. I can expect at least 10 slips out of each sweet potato. I would say probably a lot more than that, but at least 10 slips. The main reason why we started growing our own sweet potato slips rather than buying them is because it's a huge money saver. We spent $11 on 6 organic sweet potatoes, and that might sound like a lot. But when we were buying slips, we were paying $20 to $25 per dozen of slips. So this is a huge money saver. Now, one exciting thing for this year for us is that we will be offering some, hopefully, sweet potato slips at the farmer's market to buy. It's the first year that we've ever done that. Our previous years at the farmer's market, we've always been asked if we have any to sell. So it's exciting that this year we hope to have some for sale. It will depend on how many slips we get from these amazing organic sweet potatoes. Now, I do also want to mention that it is important for you to choose organic sweet potatoes to grow from. A lot of times the non-organic potatoes and sweet potatoes are sprayed with something that will prevent them from sprouting. So it's important to spend a little bit extra money and get the organic sweet potatoes. So we're going to get the other 5 sweet potatoes done. I am going to mark these jars so that we know what kind we're growing, so that when we sell them and plant them, we know if it's a garnet or a jewel. So we're going to get these done so we can get these under the lights as well. Now they're all set up and ready to go. They look great. Now I do want to tell you that you can start growing the sweet potato slips about 8 weeks before you want to put them in the ground. Sweet potatoes are a warm weather plant. They love the warm weather. So I generally plant them 2 weeks after the last frost. But it is okay if you want to get a jump start on growing your sweet potato slips. It's okay if you start a little bit too early, because if your sweet potato slips grow really long, then you can cut them in half and you have 2. Keep the one with the roots in the jar and put the new one in a different jar and it will grow roots also. It's pretty cool like that. That's how we ended up with a ton of sweet potato slips last year. So if you are itching to start something and you're about 10 weeks, even 12 weeks out from when you would plant these in the garden, go ahead and get them started. I think you'll really enjoy doing it.
Well, you guys, we thank you so much for coming with us today as we did chores and then got some more projects done here in our new sprout house. We hope you learned something. We hope that this is information that you can take to help your own gardens for this year. Now, there is some terrible weather coming in all different parts of the country, so we hope all of you will be safe. We'll be praying for all of you as this weather hits. We hope that you'll also keep us in your prayers and be praying that all of the animals here on the homestead make it and that we can keep everybody safe. We're still expecting Myrtle to have those babies, so keep that in your prayers as well. We may be out here at 3 o'clock in the morning making sure that everything's okay. So hopefully you'll be seeing that in a video coming up soon. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.